Howdy people, welcome to another video on the channel. Today I am presenting to you the latest installment of the Forest Transfer Roundup. Yes, me series is back. Not too sure how many more of these there will be. I think there'll be another 4 or 5, basically until the window's over. Every Monday, and if they aren't out, you know, follow me on Twitter and I'll let you know on there. But it should be every single Monday, within the region of about 6 o'clock. So yeah, stay tuned and turn on the notifications bell so you know you don't miss this. But yeah, without further ado, let's go. So we do have quite a few confirmed deals to go through because there's been quite a few outgoings. There's been no incomings, so nothing to report on there. Hopefully there will be one soon though, which I will touch on later on. But we're kickstarting with the confirmed deals with Jack Colback departs for QPR. Well, I mean, he did technically leave on a free transfer a little while ago, but he's literally just signed for QPR. I just thought I'd put it in there. He got about just under 15 appearances in the Premier League for us, which is not too shabby really, with a key figure in our promotion season. And he's made a good name for himself in the fan base. Had a year when he came in on loan as well in start of 2018, where he did do very well in that time. We were pretty naff though, so the standard was quite low. However, he has solidified himself as a borderline, this might be a little bit extreme here, but a borderline modern day legend. Anyone in that team that got promoted is a borderline modern day legend. The next player is Ollie Hammond. He departs on loan for Cheltenham Town. He recently did just extend his contract. It makes sense. Loan him out to League One, get experience, and then come back, and then we'll move from there. Following Hammond out of the exit door is Josh Bowler. He is signed for Cardiff. At the time of recording, he's just scored against Leeds today, and he looked actually very promising for Cardiff. He signs there on loan. To be honest, I don't really know what his future holds. I do think maybe next summer he might just be sold, because the reason in us signing him was in case we got relegated last season, and that's probably the whole reason he's sticking around, just in case. And I'd like to think if we do stay up, we don't really require him because he's not quite Premier League, but he's a very good Championship player, and I think he will be one of the reasons Cardiff stay up if they do stay up. The next player is Brian OHara. He makes his loan deal at Real Salt Lake a permanent basis. I believe he did pretty well there from what I've seen on Twitter. He joined us basically a bit of rotation when we were trying to get promoted because we needed a little bit more depth in midfield. He played against Luton, I believe, and I remember him doing very well in that game, and he really made a case for himself. However, out of that midfield of James Garner and Ryan, you just can't drop either of them. So yeah, he was loaned out and he's moved on. A transfer that made sense at the time, but it did not quite work. And the final departure is Richie Rangel. He joins, bear with me here, Vancouver. He joins them on loan. I believe they're in the MLS. To be brutally honest, I don't quite know, but he joins them on loan. Once again, another player that will probably leave on a permanent deal soon, because we signed him in the Championship because of injuries at left back. But by the time he had bedded in and whatnot, Jack Colback was back fit, Max Lowe was back fit, so it was a little bit of a frustrating one for him, because if we had signed him a couple of weeks prior, then he could have played a couple of games for us. However, that didn't really work out, and he's departed on loan. Moving on to the rumours now. In terms of incoming rumours, we have Matt Turner. Now, this is probably the most well-documented one due to Fabrizio Romano covering it on his page. And I think this is one that's divided quite a few opinions on Forest social media. He's currently Arsenal's backup goalkeeper last season, making 7 appearances, keeping 4 clean sheets. Bear in mind, he's a backup. When he played, I can't think of one mistake he did make in the bits I've seen. Also, recently, during the international period, he's been playing for USA, and he's done very well. I've seen highlights. Obviously, I've not seen the full games, but he's been doing well. So, and also, let's not forget, we are looking to sign 2 goalkeepers. One hopefully being Dean Henderson, and the second one has been widely spoken about of who. There's another goalkeeper on this list as well. And honestly, as a backup goalkeeper, Matt Turner is not that bad. He's 29. For a goalkeeper, that's the equivalent of being 25, because you can go up to about 40 when you're a goalkeeper. And it just doesn't make sense to me why people are hating on this so much. As a backup option, I think he will be top quality. Even if he does have to play a couple of games, that's fine. I think he's a more than adequate mid-table Premier League goalkeeper. I don't know why it's getting so much hatred. And it's for less than 10 million. Reportedly, the fee that is to be accepted is 7 million quid. Less than 10 million, I don't see what the issue is. For an international, I think he's being very overhated. And I think as a backup option, I don't think it's too bad at all. The fee's been accepted pretty much. It's, according to Fabrizio Romano, it is almost here we go. So there's just one or two things that need to be ironed out before the deal can really progress. So hopefully for us, that means the deal's sort of confirmed in the next 2 or 3 days at some point this week. The next player is another goalkeeper. I did sort of allude to them. Casper Schmeichel. Now, reportedly, it looks like he's going to be leaving Nice this summer. However, I'm not too sure what sort of the stage of deal will be, because for a couple of reasons. One, Matt Turner looks all but set, signed and sealed, and also there's Copenhagen are also interested in him, his hometown club, I'm pretty sure, and also he's a Leicester legend, and as much as Leicester aren't our main rivals, it would tarnish his legacy at Leicester slightly, and I don't know if he'll want to do that. And also, Forest fans maybe won't warm to him instantly because he's a Leicester legend. With the Premier League there in that remarkable season that they had, also won an FA Cup, Community Shield, helped them get promoted from the Championship as well. So he did quite a bit for Leicester, and it was a bit of a shock that he left as well. But also, I think we would also get him for, I think it will be under 5 million quid. I think, personally, I do think maybe he could be argued for a better option than Matt Turner due to his vast amount of experience, 36. However, we probably would only have him for a year or two before he either moves on to sort of a almost retirement place, maybe in Saudi Arabia or USA. So, yeah, that could be also an issue, whereas Matt Turner, we could have him for quite a substantial amount of time. So, I do think Schmeichel would be a good option. However, Matt Turner looks almost set and sealed, and I also don't think we'll get him as number one. However, for Nice, he did make 46 appearances, keeping 13 clean sheets, which is not too bad. And I think if he was going to be the backup, I wouldn't have any beef with that, and I think it would be a good signing. The next player is Wilmar Bruce. He's a central defensive midfielder who's currently playing out for Zenit. We reportedly had a bid of 4 million euros, which is like 3.5 million quid, rejected because Zenit want 15 million. Now, if we're bidding like 5 odd million and Zenit want 15, you've got to sort of meet in the middle and go within the region of 10 if you really want the player. He is 29 years of age, so he's a little bit, he's aging, he's reaching his peak. So it's I don't see Forest wanting to spend more than 10 million on him. So yeah, he's also playing in the Russian league, which is sort of maybe not the most parallel to the Premier League in terms of overall, on paper, quality. So yeah, I think out of all the midfielders we've been linked with, there is better options. Romano did speak about it as well, talk about the 4 million euro bid being rejected. I don't see us wanting to pay more than 10 million though. From what I've seen, because obviously I'm not an avid viewer of the Russian league. From what I've seen on compilations, he's very good defensively, breaking the play, the tackling and whatnot. What do you expect your CDM to do? He did get 1 goal and 2 assists from defensive midfield, which is not too bad for a defensive-minded player. However, I think we have been linked with better options in terms of the midfield area. And the final player, this sort of pains me slightly to report on this one, Roger Abanze. He's a centre-half currently playing for Roma, and it is us and Al Ahil, I think is how you pronounce it, Saudi Arabia club, so you probably get the gist of where this is going. He did make 48 appearances, scoring 3 goals from centre-half, which is impressive for Roma. However, apparently, so this is what I'm gathering from Fabrizio, the Roma want about 25 million euros. Both clubs are within talks. However, the player agreed terms with the Saudi Arabian club, which, is great. But then again, they've got the facilities to offer a player the best part of £1 million a week. We do not, and I don't want us to be doing that. However, as much as I think he would be a top-tier signing, genuinely one of the best out of our most recent signings. He's played in Europe, he's a top quality centre-half. It depends what his aspirations are. If his aspirations are to play in the Premier League, then he might put us in his mind a bit more. However, if his aspirations are to make a fat paycheck, which I wouldn't blame him for. If I'm getting offered £1 million a week, I'm going to be interested in that deal. So it just depends what his long-term goals are for himself in his career. However, it's very devastating because I think he would have been a top quality defender if we play with a back three, just imagine a back three of Felipe, Niakate, and this guy. It will be sensational. And with Felipe Niakate going to miss pretty much the first month of the season, it was a position we needed to improve on. However, I do think he's going to go there if talks have been accepted. It's just a case of agreeing a fee, and Saudi Arabia have almost got they've got unlimited money, so that's not going to be a major stumbling point for them. So it looks all but set he ain't going to join Forest, which is a shame because I think he looks like a top quality player in terms of aerial ability, tackling, set play threat. It looks like the perfect package for a centre half. But yeah. Money talks, I guess. Now I have some rumours for potential outgoings. Kickstarting things with Remo Fruari. He's been linked with Juventus. Now I'm not sure if a bid has been put in. I didn't really get that sort of vibe from the article that a bid had been submitted. However, Forest are wanting between, this is very precise, 8.6 million and 10 million. I think we're going to want more towards a 10 million. Obviously Juventus are the club that are primarily interested. So if he's going to leave, I think he will go to Italy, which I think is good for him because he did make a very good career for himself at Atalanta in Italy, and I think we're gonna want around 9 million as the minimum, really, because we pay about what 8.5 million. It's just not worked out with the way we play. It doesn't work. Fruari is best when he's on the ball. He has lots of possession. We play with about 20% possession, so it hasn't worked. He showed glimpses, and I wouldn't have an issue with keeping him around as backup. However, with the way we play, and I don't think it's going to drastically change straight away, it makes sense to maybe move him on if we can get a healthy budget for him. And going to Italy, I think he'll do very well there. Next player is Jonathan Panzo. Now it's been talks that he's almost set to leave pretty much all summer. Rangers have been the primarily interested club. Rangers are still interested. I'm not sure why the deal hasn't gone through yet, because it looked like it was going to be a permanent going to Rangers. However, the likes of West Bromwich Albion and Cardiff and Leeds United are also interested. If he goes to Cardiff, though, I'm pretty sure it'll be a loan because they've got a transfer embargo. I'm not sure what the situation would be with West Brom or Leeds. I think West Brom would also be a loan because they have got some slight financial issues themselves. However, no matter who he goes to out of those, I think he'll be a good addition. Commentary, I didn't watch loads of Cov last season. But the bits I saw, he looked a little bit mistake-prone at times, especially in that playoff final. However, he looks like he's definitely got potential. He's still a very young player as well. He was signed as depth, and he played like one game for us on the last day of the season when we eventually got promoted. So, yeah, it just makes sense to maybe try and move him on. It looks more like it will be a loan deal with the clubs that are interested, though. I think it'll be better to do it on a permanent basis, just because it gets him gone permanently, and it gets him in a better mind space in terms of he knows what's going to happen with his career. So that can help him psychologically if you want to look really deep into it. But it just makes sense. We don't have to worry about Panzo. And the final player, I do say this with a slight heavy heart though, is Steve Cook. I love Steve Cook. However, he looks like he could be going to Queen's Park Rangers, which I think will be a terrific signing for QPR because defensively they looked awful against Watford. They had to play youth players at the back because of slight injuries and stuff. And I think Cook would add a vast amount of championship experience and quality. Because let's not forget how good he was for us in the Championship. Not quite cut it in the Premier League, which is a shame because I did think he would do a good job there. And I still think he's a useful player to have in the squad because of the vast amount of experience he has. He's got like 400 odd games in the Premier League or something stupid like that. It's actually mental. He's such a good player. Looks like such a nice guy as well. It's a shame it's not quite worked out in the Premier League. But in the Championship, he was... I genuinely don't think, if we did not sign him, I don't think we would have got promoted. That is how much of an impact he made in the Championship. And I think QPR, that'll be a brilliant signing. That sign could be the difference in them going down and staying up. That's how influential Cook will be. But thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe if you are in fact new. If you never want to miss any of these transfer videos, turn the notifications bell on. Now, in theory, I'm looking at my schedule here. There should be quite a few videos this week due to the season starting just around the corner. My previews will, in fact, be returning weekly. The Arsenal preview will be out on Thursday or Friday. Predictions will be out some point this week, fingers crossed. But yeah, so stay tuned for all of that, and the notification bell just notifies you whenever those videos do drop. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.